Hey everybody, it's that time of the month again when I'm going to go through the community-created Greyhawk stuff for the month of January. This is going to cover January 1st through the 31st. Today on Greyhawk Grognard. So I will issue the usual disclaimer. I have purchased all of these items myself. None of them were given to me in exchange for a review or anything. I try to cover everything that is relevant that comes out on the DM's Guild community created product list, as well as a couple other things from other sources when they come up. So that said, let's get going. So first off, we have the Village of Ostverk by Three Orcs. So this is a part of the Three Orcs Village series DM supplement. This is a $10 PDF. The authors and artists are just credited as Three Orcs, so that doesn't give you much help as to who's behind all this. Although they do have a YouTube channel and a Patreon. Um, read the description here. The Three Orcs DM supplement for the Village of Ostverk is an essential companion for dungeon masters running the legendary T1 through 4 Temple of Elemental Evil adventure, originally written by Gary Gygax, nestled along the southern border of the Viscounty of Verbank, just 20 miles south of the village of Hommlet. Ostverk lies at the crossroads of politics, adventure, and peril. This supplement breathes new life into your campaign, adding dynamic NPCs, thrilling quests, custom maps, and deep lore to an already legendary setting. All right, so this is a 68-page PDF. It's $10. We'll get to it's right in the good price point. It does look like it has AI art, although there's no real indication one way or the other, either on the page or in the book itself. But just looking at the art, it has that look, with the big eyes and weirdness. So just take that as you will. This is exactly what it says. This is a very in-depth treatment of a small village that is mentioned in the original Village of Hommlet module. It's down on the border with Saline, and it's got a ton of places to visit. It's got farms and inns, and there's there's gem makers and things like that. So it's very very much of a standard. It's a D&D village. It's very done very much in depth. There's a lot of NPCs, a lot of motivations, a lot of history, a lot of lore going on in there. There's some decent maps. It's basically if you want to um, really embellish your Greyhawk campaign, if you're running one in the Hommlet, Temple of Elemental Evil area, that sort of thing. This will definitely help you out because there's a lot of good stuff in there. It has, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different quests that you can send your players on. It's just, generally, it's good stuff. If you're looking for a village to flesh out your Temple of Elemental Evil campaign, this is, this is good for you. Like I say, not knowing who the actual people are is a little weird. The PDF itself is laid out in full color, has the usual 5e layout that you'd expect. It does not have bookmarks, but it does have an index, a table of contents. So there you go. Village of Ostverk, Three Orcs. If you're running something in this area, it's definitely worth getting. $10 for 68 pages is right within my sweet spot when it comes to price. So do check it out. Next up, we have Battle Map, the ooze-covered streets of Gloine, from the Lost Laboratory of Qualish by Michael Schuster. Lost Laboratory of Qualish is one of my favorite new modules for Greyhawk. Came out a couple years ago. It was a charity module dealing with Qualish, who you might know from the Apparatus of Qualish. It does take a couple liberties, turns him into a gnome, which doesn't really work, but the module itself is really, really cool. And this is exactly what it says. It is a battle map for one of the areas that's in the module. If you're using VTT to run this to run that module, absolutely get this. There's no reason not to. It's pay what you want. Suggested price 50 cents for a very serviceable, very cool battle mat. No reason not to if you're running the module, and you could probably find use for it, with something else. Hi everybody. Please help me keep Greyhawk alive by liking this video and subscribing. It really does help. You can also become a member of the channel or support me on Patreon and get early access to my videos, exclusive content, free or at-cost copies of my Greyheim Adventures modules, and more. Thanks, and now back to the show. Next up, we have Paladins of Greyhawk by William Dvorak. Artists are Joey Dole, N.C. Wyeth. N.C. Wyeth was a famous artist from the last century. I've used a lot of his stuff for concept art and stuff like that. So the cover on this is really cool. This is $9.99 for a 58-page PDF, and it is exactly what it says. In the lands of Greyhawk, paladins are the instruments of holy retribution, justice, and the will of the deities they serve. In this supplement, you'll find 25 paladin subclasses custom designed to the deities they serve. So this is in 5e, paladins don't have to necessarily be lawful good; they can serve any alignment and any deity. And what this does is it's the same idea that I did with my cleric's guide, where it ties the subclasses to the setting itself. So rather than just having these generic oaths for paladins, the subclasses are called oaths. It has oaths specific to 25 of the deities. You can find a listing of them on the page on DM's Guild. I'm not going to go through them all, but they're ones you would expect. But what is really cool is the way that William presents this. Let me just read a little bit of it. In this book, you'll see that I've built off the basic framework established in AD&D and have turned it into a wider concept where paladins are not just lawful good but holy warriors that reflect the deity they are serving. Additionally, I toned down the Arthurian romantic overtones of the class and gave them each a unique role within the D&D setting of Greyhawk. And that is exactly the way to do this when you have a game like 5e that has mechanical benefits for certain classes. If you can find a way to turn those mechanical benefits and tie them into the setting itself, it's always a good idea. And William has done a bang up job doing this. Um, Let me just pick one at random here. Um, okay, so here is Erethnul. Erethnul is the god of uh, hate, envy, slaughter, malice, ugliness, pain, and so forth. So his paladins are going to reflect that. It gives their role in society, what they wear, what their tenets are, because what are the tenets of their belief? What are the tenets that they follow? Here, be the center of the storm. There are no innocents. Death before cowardice. Life serves death. So it's ways that you can assist the role playing of one of these paladin characters. They get spells at different levels, which is a 5e mechanic. Channel divinity, which is another 5e mechanic. They have maddening whistle and spilled blood, which is both thematically tied to the god as originally described. So great stuff there. More powers, furious blows, chaos strike, you are the ravager. All of this again ties in mechanically to 5e, and it ties the paladin into the setting, into the deity. It's really, really well done. This is my pick of the week. $9.99 for a 58-page PDF. Great stuff. Do get this one. This is the one to get if you have to only get one. And last but not least, we have Greyhawk Expanded, The Village of Hommlet Session 0. This is by RVN Creative Studios. No authors are credited, but they got a whole bunch of artists, including Adobe stock illustrations. So this is really cool. Does not look like there's any AI content in here. If you remember, RVN and their Greyhawk Expanded has been in these videos a lot before. They have a kind of a non-canonical view of the setting, but it's still useful. If you're careful with it. They take a lot of the Greyhawk stuff and they really just massively expand it and blow it out and really. Really work into a lot of detail, and they do the same thing here. This is basically a retelling of the original Village of Hommlet module, um, uh, designed specifically to uh, introduce the players to the setting, um, the village itself, which is an interesting concept. It's 170 pages for a module that was originally 16 pages long. And this doesn't even have the moat house. This just has uh, uh, it does have a mini adventure that is about 7 pages long. But there's also an appendix, a 14-page looks like appendix of as a Hommlet player lore handout, which is an interesting thing. Very, very neat thing to do. And they go through all the locations, they go through all the NPCs, they really expand it out. Things that were a paragraph in the original are now an entire page. They've got very in-depth work on the NPCs that are in the village. They do make the classic blunder, and I'm only saying this teasingly. They make the classic blunder that Ostler Gundigoot's first name is Ostler. It is not. That is a mistake that goes back to return to the Temple of Elemental Evil. Ostler is actually a title for an innkeeper, but I only say it because And I found it interesting that that everybody makes that mistake. Um, on the whole, it's really well done. It's a lot of good stuff in here. I will go to one section, your Hommlet based campaign, because it gives a lot of advice on how to actually introduce the players to the setting and the village. And one thing really uh, jumped out at me. Um, a starting session in Hommlet allows characters to build relationships with the community, forge alliances, and lay the groundwork for their future exploits. Minor tasks such as aiding local farmers, investigating strange rumors, or solving small mysteries offer opportunities for roleplay and problem solving while showcasing the village's quirks and complexities. These early interactions can create a sense of belonging and investment in Hommlet's fate, or, depending on their choices, a sense of estrangement that sets up the stage for future narrative tension. And that is really cool. That's a very great approach to handling this. And I know that back in the day, a lot of DMs just assumed that's what you did, and they went ahead and did it. They improved it here because modern players don't, seem to need a little more guidance when it comes to running this sort of thing. They kind of, they say things explicitly that we took implicitly back in the day. I did the same thing with one of my pirate theme modules where the players had to, interact with the crew and everything and get to know them. The same idea here, and it's really well done. It's very good. They do tie it into the whole idea of a session zero, which I'm not sure really fits completely because my understanding of session zero is that you talk about the campaign and where it's going to go and what optional rules you're using, and then everybody packs up and goes home, and then the next week you actually start playing. Here, I think you're supposed to go through all that and then kind of dive in with these with the mini adventure and getting to know the place. So, but the concept is still the same. It does go into the session zero stuff. Establish guidelines for conflict resolution and communication. What's the tone and style of the campaign and so forth. I don't see anything, about safety uh, checklists and things like that. But so they do go into it a little bit. I'm not a big fan of Session Zero myself. I just think Session Zero is the first half hour of your first session when you're rolling up your characters and then off you go. But I know I'm an old stick in the mud, and I'm proud of it. So anyway, there is a lot of detail here. If anything, there's a little too much detail. It might be a little much to assimilate, kind of like with the Ostverk thing that we saw from Three Orcs. Interestingly, this does mention Ostverk in it. Although it's a very different Ostverk, it's a very smaller thing, but you could combine the two and really have a massive expansion of the whole region of the Cron Hills and Hommlet and the temple and such. So they definitely would work together, I think. So anyway, $14.95, but it has 170 pages, so you are getting a lot for that money. So I would definitely say check it out if you're running a campaign anywhere in the Cron Hills, Temple of Elemental Evil, Verbabank. This will definitely help. And there we are. Those are the January products for the Greyhawk community creations. And hope you're enjoying this series. I do this because I love Greyhawk, and I want to help the Greyhawk community by showcasing some of the stuff that's being produced out there. If you have something that's for sale somewhere that's even Greyhawk adjacent, and I missed it, please let me know, and I'll be happy to include it in the next one. Next one of these will come in either 2 weeks or a month, depending on how many things come out. It's all the frequency of these videos depends on the frequency of releases from the community. So there we go. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will talk to you all later. Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.